Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Higgs Harmonies Choral Music Central, where we break down some of the greatest choral music performances. And as we get nearer to the holiday season, I wanted to highlight and take a look at some of my favorite Christmas anthems. And Gaudete is one of my favorite of all time, sung by a new ensemble to this channel, the King Singers. This will be a short and sweet video because this performance is only, let me check, 1 minute and 34 seconds. But there are some really cool things going on in this piece, a lot that we can talk about. So let's dive right in. And if you want your recommendations bumped up to the top of the list, check out Buy Me a Coffee and Patreon, both of which are linked in the video description. If you want some bonus content, you want your recommendations to get up to the top of my list, you want to see some behind the scenes footage, all that good stuff, that's where you'll find it. Here we go. Let's dive right in.
Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete, 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 Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete. Tempus ades gratiae hoc oratabamus, carmina letitiae devotere damus. Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete. Deus homo factus est natura mirante, nullis reda factus est a Christo regnante. Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete. Ezechelis pausa Petram transitur, unde lux est passadus in venitur. Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete. Ego nostra conscios salutiame nostro, benedicta Domino salus Regi nostro. Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete. Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete.
Hey, big round of applause. Excellent, excellent performance. So as I said, very, very short. It's only a minute and a half long, but it's action-packed. It's full of really great things. So as I pull back to this wonderful screenshot, I love the uniformity in the King Singers. This is an older version of the King Singers. There's new singers now. I think this guy on the end is the only consistent member from what's the new group now. But really, really nice. They are extremely crisp and clean. And I think that's one of the qualities of the King Singers even today and throughout history, that it's very precise singing. It's nice to have an all-male ensemble. It adds a specific color to the sound too. So we have countertenors, we've got some tenors, some baritones, and bass, but very nice. Okay, a couple things that I want to talk about. Very, very first thing right off the bat, you probably feel the I don't know, it's a really cool rhythm. And that's what's interesting about this sort of traditional anthem is it's very rhythmically vast. There's a lot of things going on. And that comes from the alternation between, I'll show you on the screen, 4/4 time, 6/8 time, 2/4 time, and then you repeat that cycle. So, Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria. It almost feels like we're dropping a beat, which gives it a syncopated rhythmic feeling, which is really, really cool. As I was listening, I realized this, whatever version I have that I'm showing you on the screen now, it's not their version, but it's the same kind of structure. I'm assuming this is probably their own arrangement. The King Singers seems to do that kind of thing, and they arrange their own music. But we'll get the gist of it for sure. So let's go back to the beginning, and a couple things I want to point out here is Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus. So really quick S there. So on the music, it's 2 quarter notes, natus. But we're going to shorten that second quarter to get the S in there so that we don't have natus ex. We don't want natus sex Maria. We don't want sex Maria. That's not what we want. We want that separation, right? And so that is going to make the text clearer, but it's going to make the ensemble really solid as well. Let's listen to that.
Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex ex Maria Virgine gaudete, 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 Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine gaudete.
Very nice. So it just gives a crispiness to it, right? The other thing that they're going to look out for is not adding diphthongs. And if you're learning this piece, or if you're singing it, or if you're a choral director, or whatever you're doing, if we sing Ex Maria Virgine Gaudete with a nasty diphthong in there, that's going to make it seem so unprofessional and just not Latin. We need an absolute purity in those vowels, okay? And I just like I like when it moves into that 6/8, because Ex Maria Virgine Gaudete Gaudete. There's a rum bum yum bum bum. There's this sort of underlying dancey rhythm in there, and we're singing rejoice, rejoice, Christ is born of the Virgin Mary, rejoice. Is this not a joyful sounding song? It's just fantastic. So let's go back to the beginning one more time. This time we'll go through into this very, very clear and beautiful solo. I like the enunciation that this soloist gives. Fantastic.
Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine gaudete, 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 Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine gaudete. Tempus ades gratiae hoc ora tabamus, carmina letitiae devotere damus. Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine gaudete.
Okay, just before the second solo, I love that it goes straight back into the chorus or the refrain, whatever you want to call it. I like that it goes straight into it. No questions asked. This solo was really nice. Very, very well done. The name of this lovely soloist is Paul Phoenix. What do we love about his voice? It's very, very clean and clear, and he just absolute attention to the detail on the enunciation. So one thing that is a lot of singers do when they're a little bit lazy is the D consonant. The sounds like a T. So if we don't get enough tongue just behind the front teeth, duh, it's going to come out t. And that gets really confusing in singing. So I want you to listen to his solo again, and we'll hear how nice the D consonant is, because he's singing tempus, which is a dental T, so we don't want it to be tempus, but tempus. Ades gratiae quod optabamus, carmina letitiae devote ledamus. So tempus and devote, one starts with a T, the other starts with a D, but they both kind of have to have that D consonant. They almost have to be leaning always more towards the D, because in Italian Latin, we don't have a T, we don't have wet consonants like that. Yeah, one great tip if you're singing in Latin or you're singing in Italian or Spanish with a D consonant, I want you to imagine that there are two Ds. So instead of devote, devote. There's almost like a stop on the lips, and he does that right there. Yeah.
Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine gaudete. Deus homo factus est natura mirante, nullus rema factus est ad Christo regnante. Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine gaudete.
So we had another kind of solo here done by Philip Lawson, who's more of a baritone, so lower voice, with kind of a rounder sound, a little bit more in the chest voice here, but also very nice and clean.
Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine gaudete. Ezechelis portas, transitor, unde lux est passadus in venitur. Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine gaudete.
So that was an interesting one. The solo was a bit softer, and then the music that followed when the rest of the ensemble came back in was also very quiet. So that third verse, the gate of heaven now opens, which to us was closed, sending forth transforming light through which holiness is found. So maybe they took a softer approach because we're talking about light is a little bit more gentle. The gates of heaven, which were closed, Jesus has sent forth his light because he's been born. Right. So maybe that's why they went through that. And I like that we have a nice variety in the verses. Here's verse 4. Therefore we meet in pure songs of joy. We bless the Lord, King of our salvation. So this is a bit more exclamazione. Here we go.
Gaudete, gaudete, Christus es natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete, 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 Christus es natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete.
Nice. And we even hear the countertenor on the right side here, really giving it his all, going up the octave just to give us, again, that exclamazione, big finish, rejoice, Jesus is here. That's the kind of vibe we're going for, right? And it's that's the whole point of a rejoicing choral anthem. It's upbeat. There's cool rhythms. It's really fascinating, and I enjoy throughout when it goes Gaudete, Gaudete, Christus es natus, ex Maria Virgine. I just like how they accent the Marie because it just kind of makes it fun, a little bit more fun, gentle, lighthearted, rejoicing. Merry Christmas. As I said, short and sweet on that video, but there's a lot that they packed into 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's a pretty short amount of time, but some great music making. If you want your recommendations bumped up to the top of the list, don't forget to check out Patreon and buy me a coffee and check out some of the videos that are popping up on your screen right now. Thank you very much. Happy holidays, and I'll see you in the next video.
Gaudete, gaudete, Christus es natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete, 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 Christus es natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete. Tempus ades gratiae, hoc quod aptabamus, carmina laetitia, devote.